Hi Saloni, thanks for joining in. We're still waiting for others to join in. All right, anyways, let's get started by the time others start joining in this session. So, if you remember in the last one, hi Chair, thank you so much for joining in. Well, in the last session, which was our first live session for the spring season, glad to see you too. Thanks for joining, Samina. We did all of these leaves. I've just kept this practice sheet handy so that you remember. We learned how to paint these circular leaves. We looked at how to paint these single stroke leaves, and we are going to do an extension of this one today. Then we did these ones, the tiniest ones, and the extension of these tiny leaves was the ferns. Then another set of leaves which goes really well when you are doing any kind of a floral painting. Same goes for this one. I use these leaves very often. These are the pine leaves that we tried, and then these are used to fill up any space. And then somebody asked how to paint a folded leaf, and that's what it is. All right, so let's see, what are we going to do today? Thank you so much. Thanks, Unstrobe Rebel 2009. Thank you for joining in. Thank you, Netra, for joining in. So today what we are going to do, we are first going to redo these leaves because I've got lots of questions. How do we paint these single stroke leaves? So first we are going to do these, and we are going to, thank you for joining, Shweta. I was just waiting for you. And after that, we are going to see different versions of the same leaves. And then I'm thinking of teaching a few super duper simple flowers, which anybody and everybody can paint. Thank you for joining, Geetika. Hi Shilpi, thanks for joining in. And for this, okay, let me show you a practice sheet that I was teaching in my art class yesterday, so that you get an idea of what are we getting into today. Thanks Osma for joining in, and let me switch my camera. So we're going to try these leaves, and this is pretty much the extension of these ones, or you can say these ones, right? So I've tried painting these. So this is a sheet from my practice class yesterday. That's where the kids were trying to try different types of leaves. So we're going to do these ones first. Thanks for joining, Shruti. But after that, we are going to learn a couple of very simple flowers. Probably some of these, maybe not all, because I'll keep this Instagram live short. Thank you so much, Shilpi. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Gauri. Excited to see you here with the little one. All right. So let me quickly do a setup here. So for this, all that you need is, so I have done these on a sketchbook, which is not the right way of, trying watercolors, but it still turns out okay. But so if you're practicing, you can use sketchbook, but to actually use watercolor paints, I would recommend using a watercolor paper, which should be at least 300 GSM. So I'm not going to paint in this sketchbook. I am rather going to use a watercolor paper to show you how the colors look like when you use the real paper. It's so much different because this paper, which is a 300 GSM paper, is pretty thick. And this consumes so much of water. It would never buckle up with that little amount of water and color that we are going to put on it. And this can take wet on wet painting really well. Again, going back to my somewhat messy palette. And this is our mixing plate. So let's start with, and then I have a container of water, then I have paper towels right here. So these are the basic three things that you need: the brushes, the water, the color, and the paper. Well, couple of brushes here, and we are going to try a few of them. So I'll start with the number 4. And it's a round brush made of natural hair. I prefer to use natural hair brushes for all my watercolor paintings, simply for the reason that the brushes with the natural hair can absorb way more water than the synthetic brushes. Although I know lots of people do use synthetic brushes and they're very comfortable with that. But that's absolutely my personal opinion. I prefer using a natural hairbrush. Hi Gaurav. Hello Ruby. Hey Hemant, good to see you here. Alright, let's start with easy, simple green leaves. And if you remember from the last session, I have this long, thin tracer brush from Princeton. Liner or tracer brush is what it is called. As soon as you wet it, look at the sharpness of this. I'm going to use this to quickly create some stems all over the place. Look at how fine this is. And right after that, I am taking a sap green paint in my brush and mixing the sap green, mixing a little bit of lemon yellow to sap green to get this nice olive color. I really like this color. This is the color of the fresh leaves anyways. So let's start with this. And I'm using a size 4 brush here. The way we're going to paint these leaves is use the tip of your brush. So look at the brush closely. It has a nice shape with a tip here and a heavy belly here. So I'm going to use the tip of the brush and then gradually put the belly onto the paper and pick it up. I'm going to do the same thing again. Pick it up. Use the tip of the brush, going to the belly, pick it up. Tip, belly, drag it up. You see how naturally these leaves are getting created? Tip, belly, drag it up. I've seen my students complaining about that, the way, so if you're a right-handed person, the way it works on the right hand doesn't work the same way on the left hand. So the easiest way to do that is, let me do all of these, leaves on the right hand side first. So I'm doing this, putting the belly and lifting it up. Starting with the tip, touching the belly and lifting it up. So let's paint all the leaves on the right hand side. And then we're going to see what to do on the left hand side. I can have few more on this side of the stem. Few more on this side of the stem. Make sure you have enough paint in your brush. All right, now what I'm going to do to tackle, I can very well do it on both the sides, but still to tackle what's going on with the left hand side and right hand side dilemma, I'm going to just turn my sheet upside down and start painting on this side with the same ease. If you keep them a little distant, then you can add leaves of different colors on the same branch. Let them overlap. Don't worry about them getting overlapped onto each other. Thanks for joining Paint and Polishes. Alright, now I'm going to take a little darker color. And for that, I've just added a little bit of Viridian green into my existing olive green color that I made by mixing lemon yellow and sap green. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add those darker leaves to just create some more interest here. And as I said, don't worry, even if they overlap, they'll only look nice. Looks easy. And trust me, with just a little practice, you'll be able to paint them easily as well. It may look... Thank you so much for joining, Rayans. Doesn't it look nice and dense? Next one is the similar technique, absolutely same technique of painting leaves, but this time the only difference will be that we will be painting them slightly longer than these ones. So let me pick up. Let me make these stems here and there. Let me know if you have any questions. If you want me to repeat what we just did, I'll be more than happy to. So for this, I'm taking a pretty unusual color, and that's red. Let's see. So I'm going to take red and do the same technique, just going a little longer with my leaf. I'm using all the paint in my brush and making couple of leaves with the single stroke. Now on the other side, I can do it on the other side as well, but for the ease of understanding, let me invert the sheet of paper. And here we go. Easy. Now to add a little bit of a twist, I'm taking blue on my brush. I didn't wash my brush nicely. I still have some red pigments on the brush, but I've taken some blue here. And see. Of course, paints and polishes, you must try these. These are easy, and just by painting two different stems of probably, nice and vibrant colors of leaves, you can very well just create a painting for your house. All right, in the next one, what I'm going to do, I'm going to load my brush with two colors. And for that, I'm picking up purple, and I'm picking up a little bit of pink in my brush. So I've dipped my brush in both the colors, purple as well as in pink. Let's see what comes out. All right, I don't really see the color difference yet. It looks all purple to me. Maybe let me just use the first technique. Either the two colors have mixed beautifully, or I've not been able to pick enough pink pigments. Just that little bit of that thinness while we are painting these leaves, that thin connect to the stem makes so much of a difference, and that's something that you will see. I have had my students struggling to get this part thin enough, and if you don't do that, trust me, it's a huge difference in the way the entire thing turns out. Make sure your brush has enough of paint every single time when you're painting. Although it still creates a nice effect, even if it doesn't have. Thanks for joining, Parvati. Thanks for joining, Navjot. All right, let's try these one more time. And this time, let's have a bit of yellow and red. A very something which is a very regular combination. So I have both the colors in my brush, a bit of yellow and a bit of red, and I'm gonna paint the same set of leaves, maybe longer. You can go as long as you want. And keep loading your brush. And you can try different sizes of brush for this as well. I have painted all of these with the same number of brush. That's number 4. See how pretty these are. Once this becomes a flow, it's so easy to create these leaves. Trust me. Next, I'm gonna overlap this with a pink and yellow. I'm gonna pick up some pink on my brush, and here it goes. I should have waited for this to dry, but because I'm going ahead with a similar combination, I'm continuing with painting this part. Using a darker combination on this side. Here we go. And now if you want to add anything else, you can add some berries at the bottom, like these, just to create a little more drama here. And also you can add some darker leaves as well. So let me paint some red ones here. Pretty, isn't it? Okay, the next thing that I was thinking of teaching today, or if you want to practice this for the rest of the week, you're most welcome to do that. There's another way of doing similar set of leaves, is not by making them pointy, but just keeping them round. And for that, let me use this part of my sheet. I've seen lots of kids doing this. I personally I'm a huge fan of these pointy leaves. Then there's round ones, but that's an easy one in case your kids want to try these. It's easier for them because dragging the brush and lifting it up in a way that you get the pointy edges is not that easy, not that simple. But this one is. Just take the brush and paint these. Just put the belly onto the sheet and lift your brush. These are way easier to manage, and you can always go back and correct their shapes. But at least you've got the initial shape of these leaves as soon as you start painting. And trust me, they look nice when you are trying to fill up the space in your floral painting. They definitely look nice, and you can use different sizes of brushes for this. Make sure that they are connected by this thin string. Thanks for joining, Manoj. Good to see you here. Okay. So we've tried these as our first set of leaves, which was super simple and pretty dense. You can just keep adding different shades of green, or you may even add the lighter colors. So for example, I'm thinking of adding some more here, and that can be a yellow. See, you can make them as dense as you want. It's not necessary that they have to be evenly distributed. So this is easy. You just need to get your strokes right for making these single stroke leaves. These are I would say medium sized leaves. We did those mini size, which were round and nice and sweet and cute last time. And then these are the long leaves. You can use them for painting palm leaves, or painting some dense or some loose uh, set of leaves in your floral painting. Or you can just have different colors of leaves all over your watercolor paper, and it is going to create such a beautiful artwork for your house. Or you can just go ahead with a single strand of one of these leaves where you're using two or three colors. It looks nice. Same goes for this one. You can have just two strands, single strand. You can have the sheet full of these, long leaves or a mix of leaves. This one was easier because in this we were not dragging the brush. We were just using the tip of the brush and the belly of the brush to create these rounded leaves on top. And once you get the impression right of those leaves, you can always go back and do a touch up of paint in case you're not very happy with the first stroke. So I think this is about it for today, knowing that we're already half an hour into our live session. What I'm going to do, I'm going to post this on my Instagram as well as on my Facebook. You can refer to it and try these. I'll be more than happy to see your tried or your trial paper or your practice papers and give you any feedbacks and any recommendations. So reach out to me either through email or through Instagram or through Facebook. I'm connected with lots of you even through WhatsApp. So I'm open to help you get these right until next Friday. And next Friday, we are going to learn very, very simple flowers. Thanks, nuns, for joining in. I'll be looking forward to see you again next Friday. So until then, bye-bye. Any questions before I end this session? Cool. So happy weekend, everyone. Enjoy your time, and I'm going to see you next Friday again at same time.